Hi everyone, Massive Das here. A little bit different sort of video this week, I'm putting up on the channel, so you're not going to see me on this one. A similar sort of to Dave's ones looking at his Xbox and his PlayStation achievements and trophies, but a bit different. I've done for a while now, and it started on Retro Collect with the forum. They did like a thing called 52 Game Challenge. There's like a hashtag for it as well on Twitter. I don't know if anyone still use it. Basically, to finish 52 games in a year. So basically, play a game a week, which 52 sounds a lot, but then the game a week. Again, depending on what game, etc., you're playing, it's not that sort of thing. And I've kept it going for a few years. The Discord of Retro Collect still has like a separate like thing for it, a 52 thing. There's a couple that still post and stuff in there. Don't know about the forum anymore because the website was down for ages and then came back, sort of thing. And whilst I'm doing this video now is I've now got to 26 games, so I'm halfway. And also we're in June, so halfway through the year. So there's a bit of like looking at the 26 games I've finished, and obviously like my favourite games of the year so far. So a bit of mixture of the two. Obviously, while I'm recording this, June's, there's still some few days and weeks and stuff are due to go. So Fire Emblem Warriors, Free Hopes could easily be one of my favourite games of the year. Obviously, that would be, out in the first half of the year. So obviously things could change, but I thought because of the 26 games, I thought it was a good time to do it. So I'm mostly just going to put some images up and stuff of the games that I've played, because some of them obviously I've digital, some I've bought, sold, even rented, and all that good stuff. So the first game I played this year was Valhalla Kids. So this is like a free sort of game on PC. It's based on like the Valhalla game, which was really good. Like that's like a cyberpunk bartender. I played it on Vita. It's great, and basically it's got those characters and as kids. It's kind of weird. It's like half an hour long, so not hugely long. But it's the first game I played this year. I presume there's whatever the last one I finished last year was quite a long game, so I went for this, and then because the game after Valhalla Kids was Shin Megami Tensei 5. So quite a big, one, obviously JRPG on the Switch. So there's one PC game and one Switch game so far. So that's like a 30-hour, sort of game. So quite a longer one. And I followed that up with Pokemon Legends Arceus. So, another longer one. Again, also on the Switch. There's a lot of Switch games here. That's also about 30 hours because I got my times and stuff. Because Dave and Craig like to take the mick if I play some short games. So I do like to keep the times, and like I said, there is short games in here. After Pokemon Legends was Paparazzi on Xbox. Played that via Game Pass because I weirdly like photography based games like Pokemon Snap and stuff like that. Yes, I played this. Did not think it was good. I think I got like one achievement on it, which is really bad because I know Games Asylum. I've talked to him. I think he might have the 1000G, and so the achievements are quite easy. But I didn't really like the game that much. I basically did the story, which all these games are finished based on the stories. So they got to like the last level, got the credits and stuff, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. Uninstalling this now. And that's like the good thing about obviously Game Pass. If I bought that, I'm really annoyed and stuff on it. But yeah, I could keep with it. It's like an hour and a half long, so I just played like one afternoon. I presume after, like right after Pokemon Legends before starting something bigger. Then after that is Life is Strange Before the Storm remastered, which I played on Stadia. So I think this might be the only Stadia game I've played so far this year. Yeah, I played on Stadia because it's one of the pro games. They had that and Life is Strange remastered. I've not played yet, which I will at some point in the year. This is mostly the best remaster I've played the year. If there's like giving away awards already. Yeah, so Stadia game trumps on here because obviously this game, it's not fast paced or anything like that. So playing it through the cloud's fine. There's a video of me playing it. briefly on the channel, which I played through my browser, and it's never as good on the browser as on the actual Chromecast. Yeah, so I played that, really enjoyed that. Again, like Stadia Pro is like £10 a month. I got a deal. Mine runs out in October, and obviously that game's like 30 quid on Xbox and PlayStation, so kind of makes sense. Sub to the Stadia Pro for a month, get both games, get whatever else. And then I played Land of Screens, another Switch game. This one, this is actually in my like top 10 of the year. Surprisingly, it's like number 6. So yeah, reviews aren't very good on it, but I really enjoyed it. It's like obviously a story-based sort of game. We, playing as his character, just broke up with her boyfriend and all that sort of stuff. It's a very mini game. If you've watched the channel for a while, what games I've play and don't play. Then after that was Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torn of the Golden Country, which obviously is like an 18-hour, 20-hour game sort of thing. So not as long as a proper Xenoblade sort of game, but still quite chunky. It was my favourite like game I played this year, that I played first time this year, but wasn't out this year, if that makes sense. And like, wouldn't give it game of the year because it's not a 2022 game, but it's sort of that sort of thing. But something did top it this year. Then after that, I played Road 96 on Switch, which I bought in a sale. It's now come to everything, and I think no, it's not on Game Pass. I don't think. This weird thing might be on Game Pass. Yeah, it's one of those weird ones. It's like a Telltale-like thing, or Life is Strange thing, but it's also generated, and you make your choices. Your character dies, and you get a new character and skills and all that. It's really rough on the Switch, and the trailer on the Switch must be the PC version, or something, because it looks really good. And they used the same trailer for like every version of the game, so pre-warned, but it might be like really good on Series X or something like that. So because the actual game is fine, it's just runs a bit naff on that. And I play the weird one. I play Aperture Desk Job, which is obviously like the Steam Deck tech demo. I say that because obviously you got things like Wii Sports and Astrobot sort of thing, and it's like similar to those sort of things. I played that even though I have not got a Steam Deck at the moment. So I played it on my laptop, and yeah, it looks really good. So I want to see what that actually looks like on the Steam Deck. So it's just gonna be like a weird game where I actually managed to play twice this year if I get my Steam Deck this year. Really clever in that Portal universe. And obviously everything can be done on the regular laptop controller or whatever with that game. Then I played Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory. I played the Switch version of this. So this is the only Kingdom Hearts that's physical on Switch. The others cloud. This game is canon. Like nearly all the Kingdom Hearts stuff is canon. So played this because that's why you wanted to play it, because it's part of the Kingdom Hearts story. Even though I still not played Remind, so that's a little bit silly on my part. But yeah. It's Kingdom Hearts goodness. Obviously all the music and stuff, and obviously being Disney, so the music's like The Lion Sleeps Tonight or whatever, mixed in. So we're under the sea, so that's really good. Then we come to Triangle Strategy, which is my current game of the year. Fantastic. Took me like 32 hours of it. I know Craig played it as well. Only took a bit longer on stuff on that. Then that I did like everything I could on the game when you get like extra quests and all that. So like really good. Obviously, could have replay value, the three different endings and all that. Actually, I think there's a fourth. There's a fourth like golden ending or something. But yeah, really good. If you got a Switch, I think you should really check this out. Then it's mostly the worst game I played this year. Well, is what I'm giving worst game of the year at the moment. That's Chocobo GP, which I bought. Yes, I bought the game, not even free to play. I bought it. I played the story mode, which is like 2 hours long, and it is not good at all. Basically, avoid it if you can. Then I played Memoir Blue. I played this on Xbox through Game Pass, but it's like a $5 on Switch. I presume it's the same on PlayStation. So it's not hugely expensive. I quite liked it. It's typical sort of Annapurna sort of fare, heavily story driven and all that good stuff. Then Kirby and the Forgotten Land. It's another Switch exclusive here. Really, really good. There's now the thing with the Switch being 5 years old. It's got all these great platformers and stuff. It's like, which is the best if you're going to recommend it? Like, I know, getting back to Craig, for instance, bought Kirby because literally it's like the one that came out like a month after he got his Switch. So it made sense for like that one. So that's the one which everyone was talking about. This is like the one I was playing, etc. But if you say buy a Switch tomorrow, obviously it's been like, I don't know, a couple of months since Kirby come out. Maybe you can get a deal on it, or maybe a better deal on 3D World or Odyssey or whatever. Then Voice of Cards for Forsaken Maiden. This is quite a well one. It's like over 20 hours. It's just like double the length, I think, of the Dragon's Roar. But I think that one does a bit more Yoko Taro stuff with like the story, where this is pretty straightforward. I was like, there's two endings, but they're basically the same on Forsaken Maiden. But really interesting, like card-based JRPG thing. And it ends with there's going to be more Voice of Cards games, so hopefully that'll be pretty decent. And that did come out this year, so it's like in my, again, it's currently in my top 10. Will it change? Most probably, sort of thing. And then Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, which I played on Switch. The Switch version, it's got awful load times, but again, that might be coming from like Xbox Series X and PS5 and stuff. Really good load times. And it's just not been optimized for the Switch. And then graphically, like the characters and that look fine, and the ships look fine. But you can really say like the draw distance, that's pretty, bad, and like stuff with popping. As one like, unless you really want to play it on handheld, and then I guess the game's on PCs and maybe on Steam Deck. I don't know. Then I would most probably play it somewhere else. It's just I just playing a lot of Switch. So I just bought it on the Switch and like a platformer and all that stuff. So and that's why I got it on there. Then number 17 is Boral Tenebrae. That's how I'm gonna call it. Yeah, weird one. This is like sort of like a weird. I just really think I was gonna say homage to like your Broken Swords and stuff. It's not quite that sort of thing because it's more like weird Nintendo sort of game, but it's like a PS1 sort of era point and click adventure game, which just needs some weird stuff. You can switch between some characters and that. It's not very good at all. I picked it up because I think it went on sale as soon as it came out. It went like, it was supposed to be like a $7.99. It went right down to like $1.99. So that should have been the first red flag, really. But it reviewed fairly okay on PC, but it won like quite a few awards and stuff, like Canadian Game of the Year and stuff like that, which is kind of weird because you think Canada, most like one of the Ubisoft, games from Montreal, you'd think would win that, or bigger studios and stuff like that. I guess when they tried to do those sort of awards, they narrowed it down to more indie scenes. So I picked it up. It's not good. Like I said, I only paid like £1 something for it, but if I paid like £8, I might have been even more disappointed. It's not the worst game I played this year because one, it didn't come out this year. Well, I did the Switch, but not actually. You know what I'm trying to say? It's like ported to Switch this year. Sort of thing. In the end, they got taken to, Chocobo was like 35 quid. That's £1 something, so. Then, after that, so going from that, I went to 13 Sentinels, which is, I think, maybe the longest game on this list at 37 hours. Absolutely fantastic. This is actually the best game I've played this year. Not Triangle Strategy. But obviously, 13 Sentinels is 2 years old now. It came to Switch this year, got ported to the Switch, which kind of makes sense. Also, weird, we've seen the Persona news at the moment. But obviously, this game was originally going to be a PS4 and Vita. There was even, I'm pretty sure the demo did come to Vita physical, which is like really weird because obviously got cancelled. I even though I say that, and I bought it on Switch as of like the handheld and like the thing and Vanillaware, I barely played it portable. I played like one of the story chapters portable, but apart from that, obviously they did some updates and stuff as well. I think because obviously with 2 years passing, I think they improved a few things as well from what I got from reviews from PS4 to Switch. Um, it's not one of those games like Lego Star Wars where the graphics are going to take a hit either. Being on Switch, it'd be 1080p or whatever instead of maybe 4K on PS4 if you're running it, on your PS5 through backwards compatible, and then that's only if it's using dynamic resolution, which I very much doubt it. So this actually mostly would be the best version, PC. Maybe that's a different question. Again, it's absolutely fantastic. I would, check out if you can. It's a very strange game as well, because it's basically a visual novel, but you get to obviously you can move your character around, talk to people, interact with a few things. You have the RTS like combat in between stuff, and obviously the story is really good and the art style on that. So I would check out Ken. Like I said, it's one of those weird ones. Like if I played this in year 2000 on PS4, it might have not year 2000. I mean 2020 on the PS4. It might have been my game of the year in 2020. I can't remember what else came out in 2020 off the top of my head. But obviously I've just played the port this year. Then I played Tome, which is another photography game on the Switch, a little bit different. I played this on Switch because it was in the sale as well. A little bit different to Paparazzi. Because Paparazzi, it's more about taking the pictures of the dogs doing silly things, and you get points and stuff like Pokemon Snap. With Tome, is you got to take obviously pictures as a photography game, but it's more like an action adventure platformy thing where you walk around the level, you interact with people. You got all they might be like, oh, I need to see what a hat looks like. So you gotta go find a character who's got wearing a hat, take a picture of a hat, goes to the other person, like, cool, that's given me great ideas to design a new headpiece for my fashion show. So, and then once you've done that, they give you something else, and then you can move on, and it's like, you've now got this key, you can move on to the next level, and you continue until, the game finishes, and obviously got a lovely art style. It's in black and white, but there is a bit of color in the game as well in a few places. It's really good. I think it was like a tenner when I bought it on Switch. I would recommend checking it out if you can. Then I played Suicide of Rachel Foster, which is another one. Normally I play this on PlayStation or Xbox, but I was playing on the Switch at the time, looking at the sale. Picked up Tome, picked up this. It's a walking simulator, basically, and it tries to do the gone home thing. It's like, it's spooky, but it's not really spooky, sort of thing. It's, well, actually, this does kind of go into like that place where like Gone Home doesn't. If you've not played Gone Home, which you should, it's very good. Then I played No Longer Home, which is no relation to Gone Home. Which is about a non-binary couple and stuff like that, how they are doing challenges with life and being separated and all that sort of stuff. It's fine, it's different, it's good that it exists and all that sort of thing. Then I played actual PS4 game. I played a game on PlayStation this year, so at the moment I think I this is number 22, and I think I've played like one Xbox game, one Stadia game, and one PS4 game, the other like 20 are all on Switch. But that's My Name is Mayo 3, which obviously I played because, I needed to know what happened to the Mayo jar and get that sweet platinum. And actually, surprisingly quite long. You'd think on this list, I have like Armature Desk Job, which is half an hour long on this list. You'd think this would be the same. It's like 2.5 hours long. It's surprisingly longer than you think because you gotta do some 1,000 clicks, you gotta do something else in the game, you gotta, do all the story things to get that sweet platinum. So yeah, it's much longer than you actually would think it is. Then after that is House of the Dead Remake, which is not good, and it is short. It's like an hour and a half long. I bought the physical version, which is good, because obviously I could buy it and traded it in. And you might have seen in the episode I got some 3DS games and a Wii U game and stuff. So games I'm mostly never going to play, but it's better than me buying it digitally, playing for an hour and a half, and that's it. Like, yeah, okay, I'll still have a digital copy of House of the Dead, but I'm never going to play that again. At least I could sell Minecraft Wii U if I wanted to. I say it's not good because the controls just don't work properly. I know the PS4 version's got a patch for the Move controllers. Obviously, they use the camera and stuff, so maybe they work much better. And then there's content as well, which sounds daft because I know what it is. It's a remake of House of the Dead. You know, it's on the Sega Saturn, it's in the arcade. But I don't think those games really work, especially at the price it is in the modern day. Like, you know, House of the Dead, you go to the arcade, you put in your pound or whatever, you play until you run out of your pound, it's fine. You put your name in or something on the high score. And you can do high score on this, but there's no online leaderboards or anything like that. So it kind of seems sort of pointless. Like, if I had an online one, I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I know you wouldn't, but let's say Dave bought. Oh, Dave's bought House there. Oh, look, Dave's high score is 100,000. Oh, mine's 98,000. Can I beat Dave? Like, something like that would be so much, you know, simple. I think to put in this game and add stuff, but it doesn't. I think the multiplayer, I presume, is just on, you know, couch co-op, which kind of makes some sense. But yeah, without some modern features, like a 2 hour game, it's not even, you know, that just loses something. Um, you know, that's why I presume we don't see light gun games that often anymore, because I just, you know, someone's trying to make a 2 hour, you know, like a 10 hour light gun game or something, gonna be pretty hard. Then I played Opus Echo of Stars Dong, which came out, I think, late last year on PC, and this is the third one in the universe or series, because the games are three different genres, and they're sort of connected because they're in the same sort of universe, but they are not as well, if that makes sort of sense. So you're playing as new characters, playing differently, stuff like that. Like, it reviewed very well last year on PC. I feel it's got like an 87 or 88 on Metacritic. It won. And one reason why I took notice. I think it won like Edge or something like that. It won someone's Game of the Year, I'm pretty sure. So then when I saw it came to Switch, I don't think it's come to PlayStation or Xbox yet. And right after the last indie track, I thought I'm gonna pick that up because it's one of those games that I also just like. I mentioned briefly like Steam Deck, like because it's been out for like a year or whatever on PC. It's measurably quite cheap now on PC or being in sales. And you know, it's an indie, so it's gonna run, you know, something like that. Like I've seen Ghostwire Tokyo runs on, you know, Steam Deck, so this would run on Steam Deck. So it's the sort of game where like, oh, I could buy on there, but obviously without that at the moment, I bought it on Switch. It's pretty good, but not like Game of the Year high 80s good. It's like a 7 sort of thing. And obviously it's like 25 quid again, kind of expensive. I think this is the thing, we've talked about it before on the podcast of like the value of stuff like with Game Pass, and obviously that gives a lot of indies. Now you got this new PlayStation service which is gonna have like Stray in it when that game's like 30 quid on Steam, but it's going to be part of the new service. So like, what is the value? Blah, you know, all that sort of thing. And then get games on sale and all that. So I'm getting a bit off tangent of that. Like, it was good. You know, it's like, I think it took me just over 10 hours. The music's really good in it, the visuals, the story, the voice acting, but it is in Japanese. The voice acting is no English. I think you might have Chinese as well. But I used a Japanese voice acting, so it's all really good. I think if you could find it for 15 quid, maybe a bit less. Again, it might be cheaper on Steam or Epic. I don't know if it's on other PC services. There may be. I would say, definitely sort of get it, or if it comes to one of the services, or, it comes on the other consoles, like a pre-order discount or something. I think it's worth playing. I just don't know if it's worth playing for 25 quid, if that makes sense. And then after that was Behind the Frame, another one of these ones which is in the Nintendo Indie Showcase. I did have this on my like Steam wish list. Did go on sale at one point. I think it went sale for like a fiver, which I was tempted to pick it up, but I just waited and I, bought it on Switch. I think it was like a tenner, so it wasn't a huge spec. And this is the weird thing where, like, what I just said about Opus being 10 hours long, 25 quid. This again sounds a bit silly because Behind the Frame is like a tenner and it's an hour and a half. So, the, pound per minute or whatever sort of thing makes this not seem like a good deal. But I really liked it. I thought it was a fantastic game. If again, it's one of those weird ones. If it actually came out this year, as in original sort of release, sort of thing, and might have made sort of like my top 10 so far of this year. Very close to it. It's one of those games that reminded me a lot of Florence. I love Florence the year that came out. I think Annapurna published that. I don't know who publishes Behind the Frame. I don't think it is Annapurna. This one reminds me of that. If you play Florence, it's kind of basic in terms of gameplay, but the visual style is like it's basically like a Studio Ghibli, film, but playable. Especially that the game has not that much sort of gameplay. It's like basic puzzles, and then it's like Behind the Frame is that you're an artist, so it's like the puzzles, like getting the right color paint and stuff like that. Without going into more detail, I love the soundtrack as well. I think it's a fantastic game. That's the thing when going with Opus. Feels like a 7 out of 10 game for 25 quid. Well, this feels like a 9 out of 10 game for 10 quid. So, but then it's like an hour and a half, 10 hours. So it's like, it's that weird thing when I'm talking about, value. Like, I'm happy to pay £10 for an hour and a half fantastic experience. But you might, like, I could spend £10 on a 7 out of 10, but it's like a 10-hour experience. It's one of those weird things. Everyone's sort of different. And then the game number 26, why I've made this is The Quarry from Supermassive Games, which just come out, which oddly I didn't buy. I rented, because the RRP for the current gen versions, so that's Series X and PS5, is 65 quid. So, which is kind of ridiculous. I say that, but it's like $49.99 in game, even $49.99 on Amazon. Like, Amazon's like, it's on sale, 20% off, or whatever. Well, it's 50 quid everywhere on that. It's like 45 on the last gen systems, where I think it's supposed to be 64.99 and 54.99 proper RRP. You just have to check like Xbox Live or PlayStation Network to get a better idea of that. Yeah, so I rented it because I did want to pay 65 quid for it, especially after playing the free dark picture games that have been out from Supermassive, which are all fine, but they're like 4 hours long. They're like 6 or 7 out of 10s, but they're like 20 quid. So you're not paying a lot of money. They're, there's a lot of polish in them. They look fantastic. They get like a star in them and all that. And I'm happy to pay that for that experience. I know what I'm getting. But I was like, do I want to pay 65 quid if this game is like that? No, I don't. And so I rented it. It is not like that. It's weird. My Xbox says it took me like 7, but the game says it took me like 10 hours and finished. So all I can think is when I was playing the game, I came out of the game and watched the Xbox Extended Showcase on YouTube and went back to the game, and then quick resume happened. So I just thinking the timer still went on the game, and the Xbox is right, and not the game, but I'm not 100% sure on that. So it's like double the length of like a Dark Pictures game, and the quality is much better. It's closer to Until Dawn. It's not as good as Until Dawn, I think, because that was like not the first game of its type, because you had obviously Heavy Rains and stuff. You had your Telltale games, but like a really decent like teen horror cinematic experience. This is getting close to that, but because it's not a new concept, we've seen it in Until Dawn. We've seen it with Man of Medan. We've seen it with Hidden Agenda that they did, which people always forget that one. I think they did. We've seen it before. That it does lose something, but it is pretty close into Door. And obviously that's a PS4 exclusive. I don't know if there's a PC port or not of it, or if they're going to be. Sort of thing. So for Xbox, I guess this is the best supermassive game that is available on Xbox, possibly the best one that's available on PC. If Until Dawn isn't on PC, so so it is a really good game. And I was glad that I've played it. Like I said, it's the 26th game I played this year. Or finished this year because I've obviously done the story. The game's supposed to have like 180 endings, but I can't see, looking at the achievements and some of the other stuff in games, I can't see there being like 180 differences. I think like one's going to be like all the characters now got 9 fingers. This other one they got all 10, fingers, but they got shot, in the leg in both things. I think it's going to be like that going from what I play of the game. Obviously, he's got a lot of like stars. He's got like Ariel Winter from Modern Family, Justice Smith that was in Detective Pikachu, David Arquette, and stuff like that. Former World Heavyweight Champion David Arquette. In it. So yeah, pretty good. And it's in my top 10 of this year. So going back through, wow, because there is one in my top 10 this year which I've not finished, but I explain why. So number 10 is My Name is Mayo 3. Yeah, which does make my top 10 of the year, which kind of shows you what the year's sort of been like and what I've played this year. So I have played games that, either got ported this year, Firing Sentinels, or like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, like a little bit older and title sort of thing. Yeah, so my name is Mayo 3 because it does what it does on the tin. It's like a fun, easy platinum game, but it's not taking the piss like a Ratalaika. It's not like 5 minutes. Do you have to play a bit, a bit of the game? It has got this weird, silly story where it kind of takes itself a bit serious. Well, we know it's not, sort of thing. Then 9 is the game that's not on my finish list, and that's Nintendo Switch Sports, which I've played for like 15, 16 hours of. I have dropped off a little bit recently. But yeah, I really liked it. The game does lack a bit of content. Hopefully, when we do get the Nintendo Direct, Golf is coming out today. Yours coming next week. So I'll definitely jump back into that. Then it's Aperture Death Drop. Yeah, weird. Like a tech demo is in my top 10. It's number 8, but does a really good job. Again, I'm only playing it on my laptop with a controller. And I can see, this is going to do a really good job of showing me what the Steam Deck can do, and it's like a visually impressive on my laptop, and like my laptop struggled to play Total Warhammer 3, and then that's more of a proper sort of game, lots going on, but it's like, okay, I can kind of get what you're doing here. The jokes and that are all funny, the universe, and, J.K. Simmons and stuff in it, so it is really good for what it does. Then it's Lego Star Wars, because I did really like it. Like I said, it's just the Switch version. It's a bit iffy, let's say. But, the Star Wars, nuts on it, obviously is great. So, yeah. Then Land Screens, which, like I said, I really liked it. It's a me type game. I know it's not reviewed particularly well, but I think, if you can, I would check it out. Then Voice of Cards, Forsaken Maiden, number 4. Then Kirby Forgotten Land at 3. Pokemon Legends Arceus at 2, and then Triangle Strategy at 1. So, the top 3 are obviously all Switch exclusive. Sort of thing. It's a really good year for the Switch. We've joked many times, year of the Switch, but it does actually look like that's sort of true so far this year. Like, again, I've not played like an Elden Ring, which I know will be a lot of people games of the year, sort of thing, when that comes out, and then maybe God of War Ragnarok, if that comes out this year, that could be as well for people, but at the moment, it's very Switch, focused for me, and that's what I've, played, and that is my top 10, the 26 games I've played so far this year. Got Mario Strikers, is mostly going to move on next, which is obviously just got the cups, sort of thing to do on that. you know, Fire Emblem Warriors, coming up and stuff like that. So lots of games to look forward to. So anyway, I've been Massive Das. What's your favourite game so far this year, and what have you been playing this year? Has it just been 500 hours of Elden Ring? So anyway, we'll see you again.